Live with the Sammy on Sunday show.
Hi.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
And we've got Brandon coming in here.
Nope.
The famous Tundra of Tundra Studios, where we are right now. And if you want to buy some hockey cards, this is the place for all the good deals on rare hockey items.
Nice.
And that show is on Whatnot. And if people don't know what Whatnot is like eBay and TikTok combined.
Gotcha.
And it's just part of the wonderful things that happen with the technology. And Sammy and I see it all the time because we're working with folks that are doing really great things with the technology. There's a lot of TikTok shop stuff going on, and there's a lot of people that are selling on Instagram. There's a lot of people that are doing some old school things like Facebook Marketplace. And I hate to even say Facebook Marketplace is old school, because as a boomer, that's my main communication that I have with my old friends. And I don't mean friends I've had for a long time. I mean friends that are really old people. And we're on Facebook. But we have money and we buy stuff, and that's the main thing that we need to remember when we're building content is who buys our product and where are they?
Exactly.
Because a lot of people are beginning to realize that this is the new TV. This is the new news device. A lot less people are watching the news on television, and they've got their phones, and they're getting news from that device. So where there is news, there is advertising.
Yep.
And that's where we come in, right?
Yes.
And Sammy, why don't you talk to me? You did an in-house project for one of our charities, and Old Souls is a podcast that talks to old people, and what we're trying to do with that podcast is to give a voice to some of the folks that have these experiences that they can help other people with. So why don't I share screen and you can describe what you're doing with the Old Souls logo.
Yeah, so you did present me with the kind of that icon of that person meditating. So I wanted to play kind of off that idea of giving advice.
I'm going to put that up on the screen.
Yeah.
This was what I gave Sammy. And I said, hey, this is the basic feeling for that group. And if you're a client for Sammy, if you can say, hey, look, here's a picture of, an evergreen tree, and we're a roofing company or a tree trimming company. Here's the feeling of what we want. This is a real life example of what you do when you are working with our company. I gave this to Sammy just like I was a client and said, hey, in the most basic sense, I said, hey, play with this, right?
Yes, pretty much. Yeah, so I wanted to kind of give that like calming feel that image really portrays. So that's why I kind of went with that like warm color. And then I just kind of played around with all the different ways you could incorporate that image with the text.
And with the, hey, are you around? I've tried to get a hold of John. He's the host of that show.
Gotcha.
And it would be kind of fun if he could pop in, especially since it's pretty easy. But tell me about this one. I don't know if can you see my mouse?
I cannot.
I think that's because you have control of the screen. But you've got one of these that has an infinity logo.
Yeah, so I kind of took that figure and I started playing around with just simplifying it down. And as I was kind of just like drawing it over and over, I realized the cross legs you could turn into an infinity.
Which is pretty cool, actually.
Thank you.
I think that I would like to incorporate the yellow sunburst that's in this original in one of these.
Gotcha.
But let's show these to John and see what he says.
Okay.
And really what I want to do is let the people understand that they can make their own logo for their businesses. If they're working with Sammy, you can not only develop your logo, but then after that, then you've got all the collateral in one place with Sammy working with your company. So, hey, I want a banner on the bottom of a video, or I want to have an email piece, or what we used to call a flyer. You know, back in the old days when we would take content and put it on a flyer. And you're laughing, Sammy. Are you laughing at my old marketing ideas?
Just a little.
Well, I'll tell you, when I had the computer store for so many years, we used to flyer parking lots with coupons. We used to have the guys cut it up and make a flyer. And strangely enough, you know, that is really something that is still a workable program today.
Yeah.
Because the salespeople are sitting around. And I always said, look, don't ever be sitting around. Make some flyers and then go out and, you know, put some flyers on some cars in King Soopers or whatever. And today's day and age, we do more of that electronically.
Yeah.
But another thing that we used to do that the retail people really need to get in touch with is we used to do refer a friend pieces. So whenever somebody would buy something from the computer store, we would always give them a little slip of paper that would say 10% off your next purchase for a friend. And that person would say, hey, look, I just bought a computer over at the used computer place. If you take this in there, you'll get 10% off.
Yeah.
And that's exactly the kind of thing that Sammy does when we make your logo and then you say, look, I need a refer a friend thing. We need to get more business in the shop, you know, or I want to make some kind of a flyer, but I also want it to be an email ready thing that I can send out. Or I want it to be a post on TikTok or Twitter or whatever. And having somebody like Sammy, is that your husband?
Yeah.
Was that the husband look? Tell Seth I said Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
He
There
says
he
Merry
is.
Christmas back.
I love him. We are so lucky, all of us, to have each other, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I love the intrusions. You know, back in the pandemic, I was doing a bunch of work consulting in the pandemic to help businesses and help people do that transition from working at home. And it was some hard times during that period of time because people were really nervous about losing their businesses
Yeah.
and when we were doing the consulting, a lot of times the intrusions were really the healthy, break to say, hey, we're still real people. We're
Mm-hmm.
feeling like robots. We're locked away in our houses. We're trying to learn this new, online thing. And then a dog would come into the meeting, or a little 2-year-old would come into the meeting. And I always love that. I love, and people say, oh no, get back. And I'm like, no, let the puppies and the kitties and the kids and let them come into the meeting, because Lord knows, we have to get together and do our business, but it needs to be more like life. And that's one of the podcasting elements that we use is we don't spend a lot of our time working on making things perfect,
Mm-hmm.
because after the moment is gone, it's gone. And so, my instructions for Sammy is let's not bill the client for, movie scale quality in the transitions and the editing. Let's get it correct and get that message out to the customers. And there's a difference between, the customer trying to cobble some kind of video together and it doesn't really look that great, and what you do on a level of, hey, let's get this together and get the message across. Because honestly, if you've got a certain amount of billable hours, you say, look, do you want me to make 5 good pieces of marketing content for you? Or do you want me to make one that is super, super refined and super, detailed, that you've spent a lot of time working on? The customer can pay for the time however they want. It's up to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
But your customer is not going to get it. When you put one next to the other, it's like, oh, there's a sale down at the Chevrolet dealership. I want to see 5 of those things. Oh, that's station wagon. That's what I want. Oh, there's a bug for $49.99. Oh, I want to buy that for my daughter.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, oh, that transition from that radio show to the clip back to the landing page could have been done a little bit better. Well, of course it could have, but it could also cost $2,000 and not $200.
Mm-hmm.
And we're about having you get more for your money.
Exactly.
In a collaborative way. And especially the thing that makes us different is they can jump on this show and talk to us whenever they want.
Yeah.
And a lot of those other services, they fall short because the actual principal doesn't get to talk to Sammy and me and say, hey, look, here's the ideas for marketing your company. And then we take it to Sammy and say, hey, look, we came up with this crazy idea. We want a little square piece of paper that we clip to the invoice that says, hey, refer a friend.
Yeah.
We can actually make that a reality way more than some of these other companies. And I've worked with a lot of them that are overseas and they're a little bit cheaper or whatever, but it gets lost in the communication. And I am dealing with a lot of these companies that I work with that are telling me where the marketplace is. And what I mean by that is I start seeing some of the advertising come through and the phone calls come through, and there was a Dodge dealership in Las Vegas that we work with, and Tobin Dodge. They used to have their own TV show and they had all kinds of gimmicky advertising. Well, we didn't hear from them for years. They did such a good job marketing that they had business coming in for years. Well, I was on, I don't remember what I was on. I think it was TikTok I was on. And who do I see? Tobin Dodge, King of Cars. And all of a sudden they're doing a big showroom advertisement of all of these high-end Dodge products that people have been paying over sticker for. He's selling them all at invoice before the end of the year. And that's telling me one thing, that business is getting slow out there because of the recession.
Yeah.
And we are specialized in helping businesses to use the guerrilla marketing tactics of social media effectively on our program that touches on something each month to brand and give that social media outreach. And there's companies that are seeing this show that need help. Business is slow, they need help, and we are very definitely here to help those businesses. Don't wait until you're starting to have to lay off employees and do all that other kind of stuff. We can help you be more proactive instead of reactionary. And it doesn't cost an awful lot of money. Our package right now is 5 hours, and it really becomes between 5 and 7 hours a month, depending. We don't just cut people off and say, look, we're in the middle of your monthly project, but you used all your time. A lot of times we get customers that we let them drive the boat, but they concentrate themselves on things that they really shouldn't be. So we call the bell and say, look, you're out of time, but let's finish this. But let's also be more effective next month.
Yeah.
You know, and then we suggest to them that we have an AI script that's tailored around solving something. So we send the principal or the manager or whatever a questionnaire and say, hey, what do we want to solve this month? You know, what do we want to sell? Who do we want to sell to? And let us make the collateral for you and push it out. And some of these companies are doing their own social media push, meaning we make the project for them and they're already used to talking to their community and it just helps it be more effective. Or, you know, there's some businesses that they don't want to have anything to do with it. I don't want to have anything to do with social media. I don't, you know, they want to treat it like the old days where it was a TV commercial, TV or radio or print advertising like a newspaper or whatever. We do that. So we hire them a social media marketing manager and we say, hey, look, let's work on our Facebook presence. Next month, we'll work on, you know, the drip email campaign or whatever. And then after that, we try to look and see what metric is bringing us in more business. You know, and a lot of people are worried about analytics and blah, 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 blah. Well, I don't care about any of that. The metric that I worry about as the head of marketing Hope is it ringing the phone? Are people calling and are we doing business? Because that is the main thing that owners care about, that employees care about. They're getting a Christmas bonus or not. You know, their job is safer or not. Are we reaching the customers and are they buying? You know, because there's a lot of black hat marketing things that can happen that are just false. I mean, yes, you're advertising to 100,000, you know, ears and eyeballs. They're all in Malaysia. Yeah. You know, who cares if those people saw that message? because they're in Malaysia. We don't care. The numbers show up. The analytics show up. They definitely, like one of our companies that we're going to be doing a big off-season thing with coming up here is the Motorcycle Riding Center, and wonderful business that teaches motorcycle certifications. They give a class, and then after you get done with what they're doing, you get your motorcycle license, and you can get your insurance and get the whole thing. And wonderful, wonderful, wonderful people, wonderful business, very creative. They're in touch with their audience. We're going to be doing some content marketing for them to more tightly target that, because they are teaching classes in New Jersey. And that's it. We can't just, do it because it's New Jersey. You got to go there. You got to bring your helmet. You got to ride the motorcycle, right? And it's got to be in New Jersey. So we're going to work on some content advertising. Sammy's going to be doing some overlays for some of this educational classes and for some of their social media stuff. And you're going to be able to see the difference, because their instructors are taking videos of the classes, and we're going to have a certificate program that'll email out the certificate of achievement to these folks. And we will do that campaign for them. And that's one that we're going to do on the show, so people can see it, like the Old Soul thing. How do I get a logo done? Well, it's as easy as this. Here's how it happens, and we'll show the people so that they can call. And the Motorcycle Riding Centers is going to be an example of a geographic, tightly, targeted geofence in just an area. But then we've got another company that makes signs, wooden signs that are on, the CNC machine. And their problem is just volume. People are not paying so much for one of their products that I just bought for somebody the other day. It was a sign where you put your medals on the thing for the marathon runners.
Oh, cool.
They make the sign and then engrave it on the back. Love Mark and Lou. We're totally proud of you, and all this other stuff. And so Stefan needs to have a broader ranged program.
Yeah.
And we want to just start focusing on some more expansive markets. Like, for instance, this runner thing is a big thing. That's one of their big products. And I said, well, are we selling to the cyclists? Because there's a lot of cycle racing, and that's a very loyal community.
Yeah.
And so our job is to creatively come up with other markets for these people to do their thing. We've got another CNC operator that does end of career police plaques.
Okay.
Like, oh, you're retiring from the, military or the police or fire or EMT or whatever, and they make these plaques to recognize their service, to hang up in their offices and that kind of thing. And so we're going to be able to work with those two companies with a smaller budget that grows into a larger budget as they get more market share. So those are some of the exciting new projects that we're going to have moving forward.
Awesome.
And that's pretty much my role in life. Sammy does the very creative things, and I just know people and I talk to them. That's my job. Like, hey, there's somebody really good, and I introduce them to the different people. And, we do a landing page for them, or we do the artwork for them, or we have spokesmodel people that, if you don't want to be involved in any of the stuff, we have people that can represent your business, and you can just be in the background hanging out. And so that's a lot of the fun stuff we're doing. And all you guys have to do is call.
Yep.
If you pick up the phone and call me, And unfortunately, there's a lot of people that want to call Sammy. We don't allow it unless you have a contract, because otherwise people would be calling her all day. What's a GIF? Okay, I can't let you guys talk to Sammy. But if you're on a monthly program, you get to talk to Tim or Sammy. What else? Did I miss anything?
I think you covered everything.
This is the Merry Christmas show.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
I don't have your little logo here. I need to do that. Can we make one of these for the old souls after we decide on something?
Yeah, once we get it decided on, I'll definitely whip one up for you for that.
And that's part of the package, because if we do an interview for the folks, we have the content. Hope Publishing has content creation services. We can take your content, make it into an ebook or a manual or whatever. Sammy does all of the illustrations for those manuals and for all the little story books. I mean, if Grandpa has a story that needs to be told, we run it through the technology so that we can make a book or a website or a blog, and save some of those memories, which is a pretty cool product. And yeah. Sammy can put together all the illustrations. Or if you've got like technical manuals for your factory, and you're like, and I always tell people, I said, look, if you've got a lead employee that knows everything and they're not an owner, you need to use our content creation services, because we'll make that little manual in ebook and website, format, so that if that guy ever hits the lottery and leaves, and your company will stop if you don't have that information, you need to memorialize that. And, it's a lot cheaper than you think. And when you need it is when that guy's walking out the door. Mm-hmm. Or that lady's walking out the door. You need to have policies and procedures, and we make it much easier to capture that content for any number of reasons. And we love doing that. And I love doing the story format. There's a lot of people that have stories to tell. And unfortunately, a lot of times when we really wish we had that memorialized is when they're gone.
Yeah.
It's like, remember that fishing trip that he went on and blah, blah, blah. And, it'd be nicer to have some of that memorialized. And, I just thought of this for some reason. I don't know why, but, those old videotapes you see at the will reading, we do that kind of work as well. If somebody has a last will and testament and they want to say, that Joe was such a rotten son, I don't want him to have anything. I want to give it all to Sammy because she was the only one that ever really cared about me. And give that Joe a nickel and give Sammy $5 million. And blah, blah, blah. So there's lots of really creative things that we love to do with the technology. Right, Sammy?
Yes.
Don't think that your project is too wacky or too mundane or whatever. We love things, especially with things slowing down a little bit. We do a lot of work with these restaurants, and if you can pick one menu item off of your stuff and we can create some content and have the menu item of the month and discount it into a loss leader and say, hey, look, we got the $5 hamburger, come down to $4.05 burger, and see what we've got to offer. This particular hamburger is the feature of the month, and come on down for the $5 burger. And then they get to see the bar and they get to see what great a place it is. And, you get some of these monthly customers, and maybe we're losing a little bit of money on that one featured item, but we get a little bit people more used to, coming to 405 burger. And I'm plugging 405 because I love that place. And, it's so good. I get the breakfast burger from that place. and it's got the egg on it and everything. And the people are so nice. It's really, really a neat place to go. And maybe I'll have to call the owners over there and see if they want to do that program. That'd be kind of fun, right?
That would be a lot of fun.
Also, if you have any local business in Oklahoma, and you want to have Sammy come down and do a little piece on it, and you want to give her a free massage or a free stretch or a free whatever it is, we do that kind of thing. We work on reputation management, actual analysis of the business. Come in, we'll secret shop, and we'll have a meal. And if it's really good service, we'll showcase what we found out. And if we need to make some changes, we'll audit that and then make some changes and then advertise the new change. Because a lot of times the ownership doesn't know, hey, look, it took a half an hour to get our meal and blah, blah, blah. We can help with that kind of operational help. And one of the things at Marketing Hope is our bench is so deep with people that can help your business. We just need to identify a problem, and then we have experts in pricing. I have a full stack developer that works for us, Bradley, and he can do crazy technology stuff, and he runs analytics on pricing and different things like that, so we can make sure that we know that we're in the right zone. Bradley works on all the pricing for us at the agency to make sure that we're pricing our products the right way. And unfortunately, if you're off a little bit on price, it makes a huge difference. And it's just like a faucet that shuts it off. You're $5 too expensive, and it matters. In the real estate company that we run, we have rental houses, and while we're fixing them up, say we acquire a property and we're fixing it up, we always price the rental properties about 10% more expensive than they should be. So we're advertising the property, say it should rent for $1,000 a month. Well, we advertise it for $1,200 a month. Okay. And we get a lot of responses, but we don't get a lot of buyers. Occasionally we do. But when the renovation is done, then we drop the price, put it on sale, and people rent it. So they get used to it at $12.99, and then when it's finished and the pictures are out there, then it's like $8.95 a month. Oh, the house we've been looking at, they dropped it in price. Let's do it, and then we sell it. So if unwittingly you're running a business and you've got something that's just this much more overpriced, that's a problem. And unlike our example, where we're doing it on purpose, they're just doing it and they're wondering, hey, how come the people aren't coming in? Let's spend some more money on advertising. When that's not the problem at all. The people know it's just too expensive. Like, I just got back from Vegas and I went to the food court, and a pizza was $52.
Whoa.
For a pizza.
That's
in the
insane.
Food court. Everybody is dealing with pricing that is crazy. And the people are complaining about the prices, and people are hurting with prices, don't you think?
Oh yeah, definitely.
I know that your day job is the pharmacy thing. Are there a lot of people that are complaining about medicine all the time? How much it costs?
Yeah, every single second of every single day, there is someone complaining about the cost of medicine.
That's kind of the bummer of your job that you have, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I feel for people, you know? And one of the things that we try to do when we're helping these smaller businesses is to try to look for ways for them to be more attractive to the conscientious customers,
Yeah.
especially if you have a business in the trades, plumbing, electrical, carpentry, painting, that kind of thing, roofing. We can help you stand out from a crowd with an advertising campaign that is not necessarily focused at being the cheapest, but what we're trying to convey is fair and reasonable pricing for the people that work with our agency. We want the vendor to make money, but we want to have the people know that it's going to be fair pricing, because there's a lot of them out there that are gouging. And not to mention anybody in particular, but like in the pharmaceutical example, insulin used to be $700 a month. And I used to be a type 2 diabetic that was on insulin and insulin resistant. It was crazy. $100 a box for insulin. And I used 4 or 5, 6 boxes a month.
Yeah, it's expensive.
Yeah. And some of those things will get fixed on their own, like the insulin did. But other things, we just need to help out people, either the buyers or the vendors, to get them closer together.
Yeah.
So we've got the $4.99 special running for full service marketing agency time. And have you talked to Carl?
No. Did you make a war room yet, or what?
There's a possibility that I dropped the ball on that.
Okay.
And I will connect those dots together. And what Sammy's talking about is a war room. When we engage a client, we put a war room in there so everybody can share the information that they want to share with the creative talent at the agency. And we can do that on Facebook. We can create a Discord for you. We can do almost any level of communication, Microsoft Teams, whatever the customer is most comfortable with, to give us the information that they need. And we will make the questionnaires for them and try to dig down deep into what their needs are. But I think I dropped that ball, Sammy. It's outside of the normal billing because they're a charity, and Sammy graciously has offered to do a discount for them because they're a charity. She's not working for free, but she's discounting her work, which we really appreciate when it's a charity and we're really trying to help people out. So I ended up dropping that ball, and so I will get back with that. I'm in Denver actually,
Gotcha.
with my grandkids, so that's why I've got this Tundra Sports Studio that I'm working with. So my son-in-law runs a sports card business, and
Gotcha.
what a great guy he is. So anyways, I love you, and I know I went over time, but I'm really excited about projects that are kind of finishing up this year, and 2024. I'm really looking forward to really helping people through the recession and through some of these hard times. Just know we are there for you. Don't give up. Reach out to us. And our first consultation with people is always free. We don't charge people to talk about their ideas. And, if we can help you out, then you'll know. If not, you can just keep trudging along. So thank you, Sammy, for all the wonderful things you do. Is there anything that you want to talk about? You want to give a free shout out to Panera Bread because they're awesome?
Yeah. Love Panera Bread.
All right, Sammy. I am going to reach out to John Faust, and we'll talk about that Old Souls thing. And you have a wonderful Christmas, and I'll see you next week.
All right. You have a wonderful Christmas too.
Love you. That is Sammy with Marketing Hope. And Call us if your business needs help